right. It is officially week 1. We've officially watched the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. We watched Philadelphia beat Green Bay on Friday and try to kill our quarterback. Yes, I said what I said. Quick notes on those two games. They were very sloppy. The amount of penalties in both games is actually embarrassing, if you ask me. Like, embarrassing to the nth degree, because it's just ridiculous how many penalties were in both of those games. The Packers-Eagles game was at 17. Like, that's, and I don't blame I don't blame all of that on the players themselves. There was a lot of missed calls in that game. The refs were terrible. The field conditions were garbage. People slipping all over the place. So going back to Brazil needs to be discussed a little bit further before they just go ahead and send those fuckers back. Let's just be honest. Xavier Worthy is a problem. Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes is a problem together. Definitely a problem. I think Green Bay showed a lot of great things in their in their first game against Philly. I'm going back and forth here. Let me slow down. All right. I think Baltimore did some good things. They did not feature Derrick Henry as much as I figured they would have. They featured Justice Hill a lot more than I thought they would have. Zay Flowers is going to be a menace. Xavier Worthy is a menace. Isaiah Pacheco is a menace. Two very, very good teams. I highly suspect that they'll see each other again in the playoffs. Green Bay and Philly, similar scenario. Jordan Love getting hurt does hamper that a little bit. Depends on what Malik Willis can do and or a veteran quarterback. I hear a lot of Ryan Tannehill. We'll see. I still think it's going to be Malik at least next week, if not for the next couple weeks, as Jordan Love is projected to be out for 3 to 6 weeks, and they're projecting the lower end of that so far. All right, so I picked Kansas City and I picked Green Bay in those games. I picked Kansas City on the spread -2.5, Green Bay +2. I went 1-1 on both sides. Kansas City won, Green Bay didn't. Spreads, as it were. I had Henry for a touchdown, scored immediately. Love over 1.5 touchdowns, done. Rashawn Gary sack, done. 1, 2, 3 cash tickets. So that was a good couple of days for me on that. I do have another 4-pick out. There's a sack parlay. I don't remember specifically who's on. I like Rousseau, Chase Young, TJ Watt, and Danielle Hunter, actually. Those 4. Not a bad deal for me. So I'm excited about that. We'll see. Anyway, so diving into these games that we got coming up here today. We've got Arizona at Buffalo. I like Buffalo in this game. They are my regression team. So I will say that I'm a little tepid on them going into this game. Although I just absolutely hate Arizona. Kyler Murray is weak. I can't ever get behind Arizona. How big of an impact is Marvin Harrison Jr. going to make right out the gates? John Connor's still there. Trey Benson. But to be seen. Both of these clubs, I feel like are kind of. I feel like Buffalo's taking a step back. And I hesitate to say that, but I do believe it. They're going to go as far as Josh Allen carries them, and that defense needs to stop getting older and get a little better. They lost both their safeties. They lost, Von Miller's on the bench with, making $100 million. As I'm taking Buffalo, and then I'm taking Arizona +6.5 in that game. So I do like Buffalo to win that game overall. Jacksonville and Miami, I like Miami in this game. I like Miami -3.5. I have no faith in Jacksonville whatsoever. Losing Calvin Ridley is a big loss. Brian Thomas Jr. is great. Getting Gabe Davis, nice. Those are good moves. I just don't think it's to take anything away from the high-powered offense that is Miami. They are phenomenal, and they're psychotic. And quite honestly, I would have taken Chop Robinson to get a sack in this game if I could find it, but I can't. It's annoying. Hopefully next week. We'll see. I don't know. Miami -3.5. I think Miami's defense rallies a little bit and beats up on Jacksonville. It holds Trevor Lawrence in check. Like I said, I don't really have any faith in Trevor Lawrence. or that Jacksonville team. Let's just be honest. Carolina at New Orleans. I'm taking New Orleans and New Orleans -4. Till Bryce Young shows me anything, even with Deontay Johnson, you got to show me something. You traded away your questionably your best defensive player in Brian Burns. J.C. Horn's back. I mean, you got to prove it to me before I can even have any faith in you whatsoever. Dave Canales, new coach. Brian, oh my gosh, what's his face? Bryce Young just hasn't shown me shit. So until then, it's New Orleans. New England, Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati. Cincinnati -7.5. Jacoby Brissett getting the start. No one on New England fears me right now. I have no fear of New England's offense. They traded away one of their best defensive players, Matthew Judon. I mean, okay, well, that was weird. I don't know. It just, my stuff just cut out. But Matthew Judon getting traded. And new head coach, new system, probably not new system, but new head coach Gerard Mayo. Prove it, and we'll see. Joe Burrow's back too, so possibly with Jamar Chase. Not likely. I doubt it's going to be with Jamar Chase, let's be honest. I really highly doubt he plays until he gets a contract. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. I like Atlanta and Atlanta -3.5. Russell Wilson is not getting the start. He's out for the game. So it's going to be Justin Fields and George Pickens and Freiermuth, who just got paid, against Kirk Cousins and Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons. I mean, Atlanta loaded up. They're in win now mode. So on the arm of Kirk Cousins, if you will, we're gonna see. I like Atlanta in this game though. Atlanta minus that 3.5. Houston and Indy. I like Houston and Houston -3. They are my division winner in that setup there. Even with Anthony Richardson back, I still like Houston in this game, even on the road. I think they're too dynamic. They've got too many players. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. I mean, even Damian Pierce and Cam Akers. Like, I mean, you literally are coming at you from everywhere. C.J. Stroud. And then on top of that, you got Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter on opposite sides of each other. You've got, I believe it's Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley Jr. on opposite sides. And I mean, it's a filthy team from top to bottom. And I like Houston in this game, -3. Titans at Chicago. I like Chicago in this game, but I do like Tennessee +4. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I probably never will be. But it's a whole new offense in Chicago. I mean, Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, Romeo Dunze, DeAndre Swift. I mean, everybody but DJ Moore is new, pretty much. So, and that offensive line to me is still just not good. So, I don't know. I don't trust them. I think Tennessee can hold their own and keep it close. Calvin Ridley's there now, so Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, if he plays, I don't know if he's going to play or not. He might be hurt. But I like Tennessee to cover in that game. Minnesota at the Giants. I'm taking the Giants and the Giants +1.5. That defensive line, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, is pretty much exclusively why I'm taking it. Sam Darnold starting. Aaron Jones is a running back. I mean, I like that. I just don't. I like the Giants' continuity a little bit. Adding Brian Burns is huge. Sam Darnold being there, Aaron Jones being there now. They still have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison is a little bit hurt. All very, set up for a Giants upset, especially at home. I'm taking a Brian Burns sack in that game on my thing, but my main prop pick is actually going to be something different. But I'm taking Brian Burns to get a sack in that game. His first game with the Giants. Vegas at the Chargers. I got Las Vegas and Vegas +3. Sorry, Jimmy Harbaugh. I like the Raiders in this. I like Gardner Minshew. Really, Gardner Minshew, Devontae Adams, Zahir White. Max Crosby with Christian Wilkins in the middle. It's gonna be filthy. I think they're set up well to make some noise, and I think this coming out here and beating Harbaugh in his first game with the Chargers would be a big statement game for them. Taking a Crosby sack in that game as well. That's pretty common that Vegas or that the Chargers allow sacks. So I'm taking a Crosby sack in that game. I got Washington at Tampa Bay. I like Washington and Washington plus 3.5 to beat Tampa Bay. New offense, new head coach, new studs. Austin Eckler. Some guys are gone, but Jaden Daniels playing with Terry McLaurin. I think Zach Ertz is there. I'm pretty sure as well. Eckler, Brian Robinson. I mean, they've got some pieces. That defensive line is still very stout, even if they got rid of half of their defensive line last year. And Tampa Bay with the continuity, I like it, and I really, I have them picked to win the South Division, but I think that Washington comes out and makes some noise in their first game under Dan Quinn, and I got Jaden Daniels as my prop pick to score a touchdown. Dude likes to run, dude can run. What better way to make some noise than to score a touchdown right out the gates? Dallas at Cleveland. I like Cleveland and Cleveland minus the 2.5. From what I understand, Cleveland is a boon against Dak Prescott, and they loves to just hold him to nothing. So I really think Cleveland's defense is going to be super, super tough. Deshaun Watson was 5-1 last year. I did not know that until a couple days ago. So that kind of shocked me, even without Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford and Deontay Foreman. CeeDee Lamb just got back. Dak Prescott's working on getting a contract done, literally as I'm recording this. Whether or not it gets done before the game tomorrow, I doubt it. Or today, I should say, because this will be out in the morning. I think Cleveland takes the game. Just straight up. The Rams at Detroit. I like the Rams. The Rams plus 4.5 in this game. Matthew Stafford's returned to Detroit. Detroit's working on a lot of new pieces on the defensive side of the ball, especially at the cornerback. And Matthew Stafford knows how to pick his spots and just drop that bitch in a bucket. So I like Matthew Stafford to take advantage of his old team and tear them up a little bit, provided that Jared Goff doesn't turn around and do the same thing to his former team with all his weapons. Rams plus 4.5. Jets and San Francisco. I like San Francisco and San Francisco minus the 4, ruining Aaron Rodgers' second debut with the Jets, which hopefully will last longer than 4 plays. Straight up, San Francisco is just too damn tough. They got Ayuk back. They got Trent Williams back on the field. They're just too damn tough. They're a very tough team, and they're at home to California. Rodgers is going to be in his home, basically in San Fran, playing his childhood team. I just don't think Rodgers has the weapons of the offensive line to really just compete with what San Francisco has. And Nick Bosa is probably going to feast. Actually, let me write that down. Nick Bosa. Sack. Put that one in on Monday. If I win some bets, let's go ahead and put that one in on Monday. So that brings us to our last game. It's Denver at Seattle. I'm taking Seattle to win the game, but I'm taking Denver plus 6. For my pick of the week, Denver plus 6. Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton. Seattle breaking in a new head coach. Pete Carroll's finally done. He is a defensive coach, don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid, but Sean Payton and that offense with Bo Nix actually looks to be a perfect fit. This could be a massive boon for them. Nothing like getting a big win against a decent, Seattle decent NFC team in Seattle. Geno Smith to me appears not to be washed necessarily, but that his generous run of 2+ seasons was great and got him paid, and he's not necessarily regressed, but he's kind of just become Geno Smith again, if you will. So Denver plus 6 is my pick of the week. My main prop pick again is Jaden Daniels to score a touchdown against Tampa Bay in his first game there. I've already cashed, Henry Love and Rashawn Gary to get a sack over the first 2 games. And I'm pissed because I wanted to bet the damn Xavier Worthy touchdown, and I forgot, so I missed it, so I didn't get that bet in. And then he scored a touchdown right after Henry did, and I was like, balls. But oh well. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'll be back in a couple of days to go over everything and see where we're at and see how I did and see how we did, hopefully, cash in some tickets. But on that note, I'm out.